Whether we deserve it or not, it is not our duty to decide. How the world looks at you makes little or no impact on you. If the whole world thinks you can't do it, but you think you can do it, then nobody can stop you. Fail is first attempt in learning. Welcome to episode 1 of Learning is Passions podcast. Welcome everyone to Learning is Passions podcast. I'm Surya Konduru, your host for this show. Each week, through this show, I'll be sharing some interesting and useful experiences or learnings which I came across as part of my journey so that those insights can be helpful to you as well as me to make constant progress towards becoming the best version of ourselves. So, a brief intro about today's podcast is thinking, which is one of the most powerful tools which we human beings possess, can act like an impediment sometimes if we use it in a wrong way. Today, we'll brainstorm on few ideas on how to use our thinking to work for us rather than it working against us and stalling the progress which we make every single day. I came across a conversation between Chanakya and Chandragupta through Dr. Radhakrishna Pillai sir, where Chandragupta asks, "Can I be a winner?" And he continues, "I don't think I have the ability to be a winner. What to do?" And Chanakya points to a tree. The little bird in the nest does not think too much. It just flatters the wings and flies off to the limitless sky. Then there was a related conversation between them where after a long day of working, Chandragupta says, "I think I can't do it anymore. I don't have any energy left." To which Chanakya replies, "Who told you to think about what you can do or cannot do? Just shut up and start up again." The common aspect about the two conversations above is Chandragupta's thinking was acting like an impediment to his own progress. The same thinking which has given human beings supremacy over the whole world or all the other living beings, though we are neither the strongest nor the fastest. How can it act like an impediment? Let's discuss about that. So, shouldn't we think? Is Chanakya one of the greatest kingmaker? Is he suggesting us not to think through Chandragupta and just do it and face the consequences? Before we discuss on that, let me tell you a quick story. A person was pretty fascinated about a company and he thought of applying for it. And he knew that he was not well deserving for that role or to work in that company. He felt he was pretty undeserving for that role, but he thought, let's apply. Maybe after reading a self-help book, he felt very motivated and he has applied for the job. And somehow he got lucky and he got shortlisted for the interview. And on the day of interview, he felt extremely nervous, because of which he was unable to think of anything. But as he has applied and got shortlisted, he didn't want to waste the opportunity. He wanted to give it a best try. So he prepared as much as possible and he went for the interview. He felt it was waste of the time to go for the interview as well, because he won't get selected. But he didn't have any great plans on that day, so he thought, let's go and spend time there instead of wasting it on the other place. So he went for the interview, and when it was his time to give the interview, he walked into the interview room, and to his surprise, the same founder who has inspired him about applying into the company was interviewing him. He was dumbstruck. How will I? He was excited at that he was being interviewed, or he met the founder in person, the same person who was inspiring him through his videos and interviews. Now he's gonna interview him. That really scared him off. Man, he's such a great person. I don't think I can't make it if he's interviewing me. But he didn't want to show his fear, so he just sat down there. But the interviewer or the founder could sense the fear in his eyes. So he started a friendly conversation to make our hero comfortable. And once he was comfortable, the founder asked a question. It was kind of a puzzle as well as a combination of a puzzle and a technical question related to their field of area. And our hero started solving it. He was unable to make any progress after 5 to 10 minutes, and the interview was for a duration of 45 minutes to 1 hour. And the initial conversation and this initial thinking took away 15 minutes. So he was left with 30 to 45 minutes. So he was thinking, was he wasting time of the interviewer and himself by just trying to attempt something which he even has no confidence that he'll solve it? He thought for a while, thought of getting up, saying sorry for applying for the interview, and leaving that he's not able to solve the problem. But before he got up and started his apology, he felt, what would I do? And like by going out now, I know I can't solve the problem, but why should I leave? Let me try for the leftover time, the 30 to 45 minutes, and see what happens. Because if I leave now, I have lost the job anyway. Even after 1 hour, if I don't will not be able to solve the problem, I have lost the job then also. But there is a chance of somehow figuring out a solution if I stick on for 30 to 45 minutes. Then he stick to the second plan by staying for 30 to 45 minutes and starting solving the problem. He came up with one solution, but to demonstrate that on paper, it would easily take 1 to 2 hours. But he somehow got started with that, and he started explaining his thought process to the interviewer, and the conversation was going on very good. The founder was a nice man, not only a very capable one, but also a very friendly one. So, and his inputs to our hero made him figure out the solution even more quicker than what he anticipated. And he started solving, and he kept looking at his watch for a while, and then he lost track of time. And when he was halfway through the solution, he thought maybe he'll be able to solve the problem within the time frame. He looked at the watch, and it was almost 1.5 hours. So he was 30 minutes overdue, and he didn't try to the interviewer figure out this thinking process in him, because he felt if the interviewer figures it out, that the time interviewer must be aware, but he wanted to wait until the interviewer asked him to leave. So he continued the solution while the interviewer was giving inputs, doing his work in his laptop, and making some calls, and the process was going on. Finally, when our hero was able to come up with a solution, with a working one, he was very excited that he was finally able to solve the problem. And the interviewer just stepped out for a phone call, and our lead character has waved through the glass doors, indicating that he is done with the solution. The interviewer showed an extreme happiness in his face, with a thumbs up, and indicated apologetically, saying that he'll be back in a moment. He's in a call. Our lead character has waited for a while, and then somehow he thought, how much time did he actually take? And it was almost 4 to 5 hours. The interviewer time he took. He wondered. All his happiness was gone by now, thinking he'll definitely be rejected, because he took almost 4 to 5 hours for solving a 30 minute to 1 hour problem. So he prepared that he'll not be getting selected, and he just made arrangements so that the moment the interviewer walks in, he'll just show the solution and walk away. Or at least he got himself prepared that he has lost the interview. So finally, when the interviewer stepped in, he has demoed him the solution which he has come through. The interviewer was extremely happy. Meanwhile, some person has stepped into the room and handed over a paper to the interviewer, which he in turn handed over to our lead character. And it was an appointment letter for the job role. And he was surprised. I took so long time, right? Then why was I selected? Then the interviewer replied, in fact, you took a lot more time than I expected. But I was looking for a person who was more patient. I can teach you technical skills. It's not a big deal. But I can't teach you patience, which you're extremely good at. And you're persistent as well. And I enjoyed solving the problem with you. Because every day in our job, we'll be solving problems only. one type or the other, sometime technical, sometime some other problems. So I liked your patience. So what is the moral of this story? There are a couple of things which we will discuss into. First thing is, he did not think before applying for the interview, because if he would have given importance to his thoughts that he doesn't deserve, then he wouldn't have applied for the interview on the first place. And in the second one, when he was in the middle of the interview, or when he was getting started in the interview, he thought he'll not be able to solve the problem. He thought, or he think that he cannot solve the problem, but he didn't give in, thinking, what is the point in giving up now? Let me try, and then let them reject. This is an important point which I wanted to highlight through this story. Let the interviewer say you are not selected. Don't reject yourself as if the interviewer has rejected you. What do I mean is, we take the role of interviewer as well, or the company as well, which we are applying for. Before applying or before they shortlist us, we ourselves go out of the league saying we don't deserve it. Whether we deserve it or not, it is not our duty to decide. Whether we can do it or not, it is not our duty to decide. It is the duty of the world or the other person to decide. Don't take that responsibility. Our only responsibility or our sole responsibility lies in trying or striving for what we want, and striving till the end. Because if you see, he got a thought of getting up and going away because he thought he cannot solve the problem, but he didn't leave. Most of the times we give up before we give our 100%, thinking that there is no use of giving 100%. There is definitely a use. If you see, he was not able to solve the problem in the given time. He thought he would be rejected, but the interviewer was looking for some other quality, not just the quality which he thought was needed for him. The other person or the world might need something else from us, and we don't know whether we have it or not. Let them decide. Let them take the call whether we deserve it or not. We shouldn't take the responsibility of thinking that we don't have it what they want, because we never know what they want. Maybe not for this role, or maybe for some other role they might need us. They might find something interesting in us, and that can get us selected. But if we don't apply in first place, thinking we don't deserve the job, then they wouldn't even know that we exist. And if we don't give our 100% and not stick on till the end, then also they don't understand whether we are capable or not. It's like, I have recently seen a small video where two kids were racing. I think it was not a plain running race track. It was having various types of terrains. So first kid was having lead for a while. Then later the second kid has completely overtaken him, and he was going very fast. The first kid, like if I would have been in the place of first kid, I would definitely get a thought, what is the point in trying? I would definitely lose. He has gained a lot of advantage over me, or he has crossed me and gone too far. But the first kid didn't give up. He just kept on going. And in one point of terrain where the strength of your arms was more needed, like it was hanging and moving forward, the second kid, who was in the lead, stumbled there, and he was not able to make the same level of progress at the same pace while he did in the whole other part of the race. Then our first kid has overtaken him, and now he has gained the supremacy. If he would have quit on the first place, thinking that he can't overtake the second kid, then he would have lost the race then. But he didn't give up. He tried till the end. You never know at what point of time the weakness of the other person might overtake him, and that can be your advantage. So the moral of this is, we have to keep trying till the end and not take decision before the actual decision is out. So coming back to the Chanakya and Chandragupta's conversation. So Chanakya is asking us not to think. Why? Or he's asking Chandragupta not to think. Why? Because he was thinking of a wrong thing at a wrong time. Before you start something, you have to think about the capability, whether you're able to or capable to do something or not. But not after you have started. After you have started, you should only think whether, or you should only think about how you can reach the destination or how you can accomplish the task which you have set for yourself. It is not a right time to think about the capability after you have started a journey. All this thinking or analysis should be done before you start a task, not after you have started. Because if you have noticed in the previous story also, and that is pretty similar in what we do in real life also, what do we really think about? We at most of the times think about things which are really not in our control. What if I don't get selected? What if I don't deserve? What if I fail? What if am wasting the time of the other person? You understood the point, right? Our focus is so much on things out of our control, and it is none of our business to think about things which are not in our control. As the famous Gita shloka goes, कर्मण्यवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफल हेतुर्भोः मा ते संगोऽस्त्व कर्मणि. You have control and ownership over actions alone, not its results. So don't focus too much on influencing results or thinking about the results. It won't do any good. This is what the understanding which I got from that shloka, and it holds pretty good as well. So once you get started, focus only on things which you can control, can really control. You would definitely get thoughts on things which you can't control. Try to make some arrangements to mitigate the risk or reduce the risk if things go out of proportion, but don't get that thinking stall you or stop you. And there's one amazing quote which I read, which says obstacles are those things which we see when we take our eyes off the goal. As long as our eyes are kept on the goal, we don't tend to see obstacles as some stopping blocks. And one more interesting point which we always think about when we start a task or before starting the task, and that is, what if we fail? One biggest solution to this is, think about the worst case scenario. What would you really lose if you try for that and fail? What I mean by apply is, in our previous story, our lead character has applied for the job and he has thought, what would I do? Or what would I lose if I fail? Nothing. He didn't have a job before, and if he doesn't get selected, he doesn't have a job after that as well. So, most of the times in life, by trying, we don't lose anything. Just the time it takes and the effort it takes for the trial, and that effort and time makes us better in the process or in that particular skill, but we don't lose anything effectively. So it's a myth that you have something to lose, and when you have nothing to lose, you can go full on. And suppose, as our lead character thought, he doesn't deserve the job, and there are maximum chances that he would fail. Should he still take the leap? What they say, leap of faith. Elon Musk has said it wonderfully. If something's important enough, you should try, even if the probable outcome is failure. I would add one more quote from, I think, Google's co-founder Sergey Brin, I guess. He said, if you try to do something extraordinary, you would end up making something extraordinary even if you succeed at making it or even if you fail at making it. So, if you always do something which you are capable of doing, then you would always get something which you have always got. You want something more, right? Then you have to stretch your comfort zone and try to do something which you yourself feel that you're not capable of doing. And you might end up in trouble while in the process of doing it, because it's a new zone and you're not accustomed to it. So there's one amazing quote by Norman Vincent Peale which says, some people break in trouble while some break records. You might say it's an empty thought, it holds no truth in it, but it is true. I have recently seen a real-time example of this. In 1983 World Cup, when India was in a do-or-die match or a decider, they were playing against Zimbabwe, and the team was doing very bad, almost 4 wickets gone. Kapil Dev, who's not a full-time batsman, he has not only made the team win, but he has also made a world record with the highest number of runs by an individual in a World Cup match. So, would you agree now that in trouble, some people break while some break records? Which side you want to be in? You want to break, or you want to hold yourself strong, give your 100% and try to break records? It's your choice. So, one last point. What if you really fail? After the whole thinking, you didn't break, you tried to break the world record, but you ended up failing. What really happens? As you have nothing to lose, you don't lose, you don't win, you're just a failure. Are you really a failure? Because definitely you're a failure in the eyes of the world, but you know that you have given your 100% or more than that. There's one interesting perspective. How the world looks at you makes little or no impact on you, but how you look at your own self makes a huge impact on you. The world might think you are capable of doing it, but if you doubt yourself, then you might not be able to do it. If the whole world thinks you can't do it, but you think you can do it, then nobody can stop you. You'll figure out a way, one or the other way, to get it done. And failure is not a dead end, it's a stepping stone. You might have heard this, failure is a stepping stone. It's truth. Let me back my statement with some theory. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam has given a wonderful definition to failure or fail. He says, fail is an abbreviation to a statement called first attempt in learning. Let me repeat, first attempt in learning. Isn't it a wonderful definition? And one more thing it proves is, if you have failed at something, it means you're trying something new. Because if you already knew something or how to do something, you would definitely not fail in it. If you have failed and then you're careless, that is a second issue. But if you're trying something new, then only you would fail. Then you shouldn't feel bad, right? Because you are trying something out of your comfort zone. Even if the world criticizes you, you don't have to criticize yourself. So, to summarize the whole discussion we are having now, think twice about your ability before starting. Let me repeat, before starting something. After you have started something, your sole focus should be on how to reach the destination and how you can accomplish the goal effectively. That can be possible only if you focus on things which are in your control. And you can either make excuses of why you cannot or couldn't accomplish the task, or you can produce results. And give your 100% or more than your 100%. You never know, you might end up breaking a world record in the process of achieving your own goal. And finally, how the world sees us doesn't make any impact on us, but how we see ourselves makes a great impact on ourselves. Thanks for listening to the podcast till the end. Hope you have found it useful. If you have found it useful, then do share what was helpful to you so that it can inspire me to share more. And if you didn't like anything, feel free to share it with me. I would love to hear your feedback to get better every single day. Do like, share, and leave a review for the podcast so that it can reach more people who can benefit from this experience and can inspire me to do more of this stuff. So, let's take one step closer towards becoming a better version of ourselves by making use of thinking to work against us. I mean, for us, not against us. Bye. Have a wonderful day.